Yoga with Anadil. I am Anadil. Thank you so much for joining me today for the second video in our chakra series. We previously did a 40-minute yoga practice together on the root chakra, as demonstrated above me, and in today's class together we're moving up into the sacral chakra. So this second energy center moves away from the solidity, the earthiness and the groundedness of the root and moves up into the area kind of just below the navel, which then becomes a little bit more fluid, a little bit more movement and freedom, which tends to feed our creativity. So today's class is all about getting a little bit more freedom, fluidity and creativity into our practice whilst we still practice those firm roots. So when you're ready, please join me on the mat in a moment. Today we will begin standing on your mats, feet hip distance apart, and allow your arms to rest onto the sides. And you don't need to hold any shape here, you can just let them be at ease. And root through the feet, finding equalness here. So just as we do when we're sitting at the beginning of our classes, we take our focus to all that is rooting us and we try to get even. So we'll do the same here through our feet. So you may feel a little bit more weight in the heels or the toes, the inner edges or the out. So maybe like a pendulum, working in your mountain pose. There is another video for that if you'd like to break that down even more. We use those foundations now. With root we get solid. And I'd like us to connect to the sacral area, the sacral center, with our hands. So you can rest your hands onto your belly, onto the lower abdomen. And if you like, you can keep both hands there, or you can take any hand, use the back of that hand to rest alongside the same area in the back. So we're gently pressing into these areas, connecting deeply, allowing our in-breath to travel all the way into the effort of our hands. Firing up into the lower abdomen, using every breath in and out to light the fire in these lower centers. So please follow me with a breath as we breathe in through the nostrils for 2 and 1, and you can blow out through the and you can breathe out through the nostrils or gently blow through the mouth for 3, 2 and 1. Breath in, allow the belly to relax for 2 as you inflate for 1, anchoring the shoulders down towards the earth, breathing out for another 2 and 1. Let's do that one more time. Big breath in for 2 and 1, and as we breathe out, 3, 2, gently press the hands for 1. Releasing the hands down, just allow yourself a moment or two to return to your more natural rhythm before we begin to move into the body. So take a softness in the knees, root through the feet. Maybe you take a little bounce from side to side, getting a little bit of movement in, a little bit of fluidity in. And then find your center, get rooted, and let's spread our wings as we breathe out, straighten through the legs, reaching one up with the gaze as well as the hands. Big breath out. Let's take the palms down towards the sky, dropping through the shoulders, spreading the wings as far as they go. Take your hands behind you and let's just breathe in one more time. Big breath in. Lift on up And follow your out breath, big breath out. One more time, big breath in. And big breath out. So let's hold on to the right elbow from behind. So let's take the left hand, reach around, and you may end up holding onto the hand, and that's fine. All I'd like us to do is connect to the sacral area behind us and reach your fingertips down. You may find that your hand travels further up. So you're drawing your shoulder blades together, allowing the shoulder blades to ride down your spine as you reach your fingertips down towards the earth, resisting the temptation to flick your tailbone out. So just keep that nice and long as well as we hold on to the right arm or hand. And take a moment to breathe as you reach your fingertips down. And as we breathe in and out, we'll follow the out breath now to... And here we're drawing a big in breath, so root, rise on up through the heart, big breath in. As we breathe out, anchor through the shoulders and gently drop your left ear to left shoulder. And spend a moment here, and you can begin to get fluid, like the element of water that represents this center. You begin to ride the waves of your breath as you lean over. Come to stillness. Let's wait for our out breath and drop the chin to chest. Ride along the in breath to take your ear over to your right hand side. Dropping chin to chest as you breathe out, and once more over to your left. And now let's just stay here. Sending the breath all the way down into the lower abdomen. As you breathe in, inflating it. As you breathe out, reaching the shoulders and the fingertips down towards the earth. Let's release the arms. Take in a big in breath. And now bring your hands to heart center. So coming to the top of your mat, we'll have the feet hip distance apart. And once you're ready, we'll take a gentle bounce in the knee, springboard up, get fluid, get creative. And as we breathe out, we bend through the knees, take the arms wide, and drop your hands down onto the earth. Wait for your in-breath. Begin to straighten the legs. Keep your hands grounded. If by straightening your legs you lose the ground, you rest them onto your Wait for your next in-breath, and then let's ride along with it, straightening the legs. Please place your hands at the very tops of your thighs today, drawing the shoulders back into your tabletop position. And then as we breathe out, let's drop, let's bend. Let's bend the knees, placing the hands down onto the earth. We're lifting through the right leg and stretching it out all the way behind us. Now we're going to work a little bit towards tilting the hips nice and level, keeping the hips nice and level, so that the sacrum is like you're holding a book, you're balancing a book here, and you're really firing up into the navel, into the second central. Then, if you like, you can stretch the toes, and you can maybe even have a couple of little bounces here, just for good measure. Keep the breath going. And then bend through the supporting leg and ground through the back foot, and you can shuffle it back if you like, and we're going to drop to that back knee. Take your right hand from underneath your shoulder and move it maybe even off the side of the mat, and then place your hand, your left hand, onto the left thigh. Now you can feel free to shuffle that front foot further to the outer edge of the mat. I'm just going to turn around so you can see that better. Now you can shuffle this foot further away to the outer edge of the mat too, and even maybe pivot the toes towards the outer edge of the corner of the mat if you prefer. And as we take our next breath in, we're going to lean into that front knee, lift through the navel, drop through the hips. Breath out, ease off, take your hips over that back knee. Draw in your breath, drop your hips down towards the earth, rest your hand into your thigh to lift your belly back and up. Let's do that one more time. Get fluid, get creative. Actually, that feels really good. Let's do it one more time. Empty out, fill on up, lift the navel up, and if this feels like enough, stay here. You do have the choice to curl the back toes under, and you also have the choice, as well as lifting your top shoulder up and back behind you, to really use the core to keep your hand lifted up. And if you are here, you can sweep your heart towards the sky. Your shoulder will follow, as will your hand. So you're really just pressing into the supporting hand, taking your lower shoulder forward and your heart back. Ease off, breath out, breath in. Let's rise on up into our opener. And let's breathe it out, sweep your top hand down. And just bring both of your hands underneath your shoulders for some support. Level through the left foot so the toes are pointing towards the front of the mat again. Now we're going to keep the hands on the inside of that foot. We're going to come off the back knee, and you can hop it up a little bit if you like, or you can step both feet that are now wide onto the mat and have your knees bent. So now move your hands to a place that is more supportive for you, and we're going to drop into our malasana, our squat, which you may remember from the previous video in this series. If not, check that out and you can get deep into this pose and look for alternatives. But remember, if your heels aren't down, you can take a rolled or folded blanket underneath. You can use bricks, you can use cushions underneath your seat in this malasana. Otherwise, you drop your arms to the inner edges of your legs. Press into your hands so that you widen through the knees, and just make sure the inner and outer edges of your feet, as well as the toes and heels, are grounding comfortably. If this isn't working for you, you use your hands for support and you squat to where is comfortable for you. So stay there and breathe for a moment. I'll just get to my position once more. Placing the hands onto the earth, lifting onto the balls of the feet, bringing the feet to hip distance apart now, and placing the hands underneath you so that when you lift your bottom, you flatten the feet, the knees are still bent and you're in your forward fold. Wait for your in-breath, straighten the legs. Everybody, please, let's bring our hands to the tops of the thighs, flatten through the back, and really lift the head forward. Pull your navel in towards your spine and up towards your heart. And breath out, melt through the knees, all the way down towards the earth. And breathe in, you can keep your knees bent, you can curl on up, you can ride on up. Use whatever you like to draw your hands up in any way you choose. Get creative. You can take your arms wide, you can take your arms forward. But now let's end up with hands to heart center. So we're still standing at the top of the mat, but I'll turn to the side. So here we remain with our feet hip distance apart, and we'll work into our left side. So again, taking a moment to get even in our grounding, to get tall from these roots. Let's take a gentle bend in the knees. Take our wings wide, fill on up with breath, hands together, and as we breathe out, the palms face towards the earth as you lower your hands, take them behind you, and we'll do that one more time. Big breath in. Followed by the gaze when you're ready to breathe out for 3. Arms lower for 1. And your hands go behind you. Now this time we're reaching over towards our left arm. So we take the right hand behind you, and if this is as far as you're comfortable, then this is as far as you go. And you press into here, you reach down with the fingers, you press into here, and you bring your shoulder blades together behind you. If you are able to reach around, you can use your left arm to lengthen and move the shoulder along slowly and gently. You may find this hand position wants to be further up or further down. It's entirely up to you. But either way, you're resting either the top of your hand or your right arm onto the sacral center, the sacral chakra. And we breathe in and we're tall, and we breathe out and we root through the shoulders and the heels. Big breath in, and this time as we breathe out, we're dropping our right ear to right shoulders as the shoulders and the hands make their way down towards the earth. And we use the breath to allow a little bit of watery fluidity in the body. So ripple gently alongside the breath. And as long as you're slow and mindful here, get creative in this movement. So from the solidity of our feet, from the solidity of our hold, we find some creativity and some freedom. So really feed this. Breathe easy so the ideas can flow intuitively. Let's come to stillness. Wait for your out breath. Drop the chin to chest. Breath in and rolling the left ear to left shoulder. And you can stay here for a moment and just see how this feels for you. Keep reaching the fingertips down and the shoulders down. Keep pressing the hand or the arm at the back deeply into your body. Chin to chest, breath out. Lifting the head back to center. Releasing the arms, take a gentle bounce in the knee and lifting the hands up towards the sky, and as we breathe out, bend the knees and we'll fold it forward on to the earth. Let's wait for our next in-breath, straighten through the legs, let's glide the hands all the way up to rest onto the tops of the thighs, or if you prefer you can have a go onto your shins. Keep the legs straight, try not to lock the joints, but keep the kneecaps and the quads active. If you prefer, you can slide whilst you keep all of that going, slide your hands down towards the earth. And lift your tailbone up towards the sky, pull your navel in as you flatten your back. And empty it out. Place the hands onto the earth for support. And this time we're going to lift through the left leg and just stretch that back as much as is comfortable for you. You can stay on your palms or you can come up onto fingertips, work towards straightening the supporting leg, again without locking any joints. And just be mindful of if your hips are tipping. Remember that imaginary book we're holding on the back. Level through that so that book is nice and safe. And then bend through the supporting leg. Reach back with your foot onto the earth and let's drop that back knee. We're placing the left hand onto the outer edge of the side of the mat. We're taking the right foot and shuffling it along wider, maybe even outside of the mat. If the toes want to point to the top, towards the top corner, that's perfectly fine. Rest in the right hand onto your right thigh. Let's breathe in, follow that breath. Breathe in as you lean into your lunge. Remember the back foot can be flat or it can be curled onto your toes. Big breath out, ease off, maybe you bow it down. Press into all that is grounded, all that is rooted. Press deeply. This helps you lift more. So think about rooting through the tailbone and lifting into the belly. Maybe you press gently away onto that thigh and create space all the way up to the belly button, maybe more. Maybe your heart lifts. Let's breathe out, ease off. And do this a few times. Big breath in, get creative with these movements. Breath out, ease off. Think about your top shoulder moving forward and swimming up and back. And let's release. And with all of that going, let's do that one more time. Maybe the front foot wants to lift. In your creativity, you find your way into this pose. Now with all of that going, dive in deeper with your breath as well as your movement. Press into the lower hand, your supporting hand, and move the shoulder forward. And what this does is it lifts your heart forward and the top shoulder moves back. With all of that going, you can lift the top hand. Big breath in. And let's sweep the fingertips down, breath out. Don't worry too much about the top hand. Think more about the bottom shoulder moving forward and up, the heart moving forward and up, your top shoulder moving back, and then the arm will follow. Let's do that one more time. Big, playful movement for a couple of more rounds. in your own time. So it's like you're painting a canvas with your fingertips, maybe even your toes, getting creative. What will you create? And let's breathe it out. Maybe we shuffle that foot slightly inwards. Both of the hands are still on the inside of the foot. Curl the back toe under and lift off the back knee. Feel free to shuffle that forward slightly. We're going to reach back into our malasana, our garland pose. So big breath in and out. Both feet come to the outside of your hands. You can shift your hands to somewhere that's more comfortable and then make your way down. So flatten through the feet. The feet might want to turn outwards once again, and that's perfectly fine. You find your way creatively down, down, down. And this may be as far as you go. Or you can take as much support as you need underneath the heels, underneath the knees, underneath your sit bones, to get into this pose once more. Wherever you've landed, wherever you found yourself, wherever you've positioned yourself is not where you have to stay. So feel for what's comfortable. You have the freedom to adapt to what's more suitable for you. So we won't spend too long here. We'll release the hands to the earth and we'll bring the feet in towards each other. And we're going to come onto our bottoms, so find your way there. So you can bring your knees together, take your hands to the side and bring your hips down, or find your way down in any way that's graceful and creative just for you. So in our final pose, we're taking a seated bound angle pose, where the soles of the feet are now pressing towards each other. And here, if it feels more comfortable, sit up on whatever you need. It allows the hips to ease a little bit. So hold on to your ankles, your shins, so that we can draw a breath in, lift through the navel, lift through the heart, and as you breathe out, you ground through the shoulders. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, feel free to take a creative choice in how you sit. And now I'd like us to rest both hands onto the belly. Take a gentle bow, leaving enough space in the throat to breathe easily. And just as we did in the beginning, we'll soften the breath even more and imagine that breath igniting, maybe not igniting, stoking the heat of the root, the creativity of the sacral, the fluidity of our breath, of our movement, of our lives. Nothing is constant, it's forever changing. So we can move along with it as creatively as we dare. Breathing in and out, dreaming of all that is to be created, invented, started. Dream big. For it really is all possible. Keep stoking that thought into the sacral center. Stay here for as long as you like, for as long as you have. Thank you for joining me once again today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.